So before the NBA season started, the Houston Rockets got some very devastating news. Fred VanVleet was going to miss the entire NBA season due to an injury, and that brought a very concerning cloud over this Houston Rockets team. Houston, with being as turnover prone as they were, as very limited as in half-court offense as they were, relied on Fred VanVleet to kind of ride the ship, especially with a lot of players that you don't want to handle the ball with the expectation that they had coming into the season. The Houston Rockets acquired Kevin Durant from the Phoenix Suns, sending away Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks with a first-round pick to become championship contenders, obviously to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. And with how the Oklahoma City Thunder force turnovers, you would want to have a guy like Fred VanVleet on the court at all times, or at least for a majority of the game, somebody that could take care of the ball, read defenses, make the proper pass, and create pull-up three-point opportunities. So, me included, I was one of the guys that kind of ridden OKC off. They would be a really good regular season team, and in the postseason, I would not see the success route that I would have saw with Fred VanVleet now that they don't have him. And I really did not see this type of play from Reed Sheppard coming into the season. We all know he can shoot the basketball. We all know that he has been pretty solid as an off-ball player as well. One of the best shooting prospects we have ever seen in the 2024 draft class. But he's been much more than that. I would say Reed Sheppard has been everything you have wanted him to be over the past 7 games. Somebody that is starting to get serious minutes for this Houston Rockets team. Now, mind you, played in the G League last season. Didn't get much rotational minutes, which is obviously something that you could expect coming into a team that is expected to have some type of playoff success last season. You know, last season, we came into the year thinking that the Houston Rockets would be maybe a playing team, somebody that can give you a real push. And then we look in April and May, and this team is the 2nd seed in the Western Conference. This is one of the youngest teams in basketball, being the 2nd team in the Western Conference. Obviously, a guy like Reed Sheppard, who was still very raw, a rookie, would not get much burn on a team like that. And then coming into this season, expected to get heavy minutes on an opening night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It pretty much went how I would think it would go. I mean, I know OKC has something. OKC makes superstars look pedestrian. What do you think they're going to do against a second-year player who's being asked to get serious ball handling responsibilities against an all-time great defense? But even then, this season, Reed Sheppard is averaging 12 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. And over the last 7 games, he's been averaging 17 points per game and 3 assists on 53% from the three-point line on 6 three-point attempts a game. And to be quite honest, it's been exactly how I would think Reed Sheppard would play basketball on this Houston Rockets team. He's been playing in the DHO. He's been playing off ball. He's been really good in transition. And some of the things that I have wanted to see from him, he's improved on, like being more aggressive with the ball in his hand, being able to get into the mid-range and create his own shots. One of the things that I really like is his dynamic with Steven Adams. Steven Adams is one of the best screeners in basketball. Reed Sheppard is one of the best three-point shooters in basketball. That's always going to be a great mix. That's always going to be a great mix. When you have somebody that can screen to the level of Steven Adams and create that extra step of space with a three-point shooter like Reed Sheppard, good things are going to happen. They're going to be able to attack mismatch. They're going to be able to attack drop coverage bigs. They're going to be able to exploit switches, because if you're going to get a big on such a good three-point shooter like that in Reed Sheppard, you're taking away rim protection, and you're also putting one of the best rebounders in the league against a smaller defensive player. That creates second chance opportunities. That creates 4-on-3 opportunities. That creates 5-on-3 opportunities. A lot of things can happen with that kind of two-man game. Per 75 possessions with Steven Adams on the floor, Reed Sheppard is averaging 19 points per game, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds a night on a 60% true shooting. Once again, I'm not asking Reed Sheppard to be this completely very solid, reliable floor general in his 2nd season on a team that has championship aspirations. But what he's done with this Houston Rockets team over the past 7 games has been phenomenal. And he just complements what this Houston Rockets team wants to do. They want to run in transition. They also need perimeter creating from a guard. It's something that they lost with Fred VanVleet. And when you have Reed Sheppard on the floor with Amen Thompson, with Alperen Sengun, with Kevin Durant, who can all attack defenses in very different ways. Kevin Durant and Alperen Sengun kind of like dominate the mid-range game, with Alperen Sengun being one of the most talented back-to-the-basket scorers in basketball, one of the best playmaking bigs in basketball, one of the best screeners in basketball, one of the best shot creators in basketball, and then Kevin Durant being one of the best mid-range scorers we have ever seen, and still one of the best half-court scorers in basketball to this day. Amen Thompson being the best athlete in the league, and Reed Sheppard being being one of the most talented three-point shooters in basketball, there's just way too many different avenues. This season, with those four players on the floor, the Houston Rockets have a 132 offensive rating. A 132 offensive rating. Now, again, the sample size may be small, but this is something that I can see this team going to in a postseason environment when you're going to have a defense, or where you're going against a defense that is getting stressed out by multiple different scorers and playmakers. There's a 3 to 4 man game that's just going to make it very hard to guard. Imagine Reed Sheppard relocating and Kevin Durant relocating on both baselines or both sidelines, and then you have Amen Thompson running baseline with Alperen Sengun creating in the middle of the floor. How are you going to guard that? Or if we just look in transition, where we can just look in transition. The Houston Rockets are one of the better transition offenses in basketball. Imagine Amen Thompson running down the floor in the middle of the floor, and you have Reed Sheppard filling in the lane on one side and Kevin Durant filling the lane on the other side. This is a Reed Sheppard player who shoots 50% from both corners on the floor. And I really do just want to say hats off to Houston, because this is a team that I wrote off. Obviously, I didn't have them missing the playoffs or anything egregious like that. I still had them making the playoffs pretty comfortably, being a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, but their championship window for me, or for at least this season, was pretty much closed because of the concerns I had with them being able to turn the ball over, the half-court offense. They've been one of the best offenses in the league. They've been one of the best offenses in the league, and it's just off of them being so dysfunctional as an offense, and sometimes that is a good thing. Sometimes that is a good thing. They don't have a player that just comes down the court and sets everything up for everyone. Everybody can set something up. Alperen Sengun, Amen Thompson, and Kevin Durant have formed one of the best 3-man offenses in basketball, and it's because you have the rim pressure, the rebounding, the off-ball play that Amen provides, but then you also have the middle of the floor creation that Alperen Sengun provides for this team, and then you have the mid-range scoring from Kevin Durant. Those are 3 different things that this Houston Rockets team can use against you, and now you have one of the best 3-point shooters in basketball. You have one of the best 3-point shooters in basketball who's coming into his game so nicely. There was a play against San Antonio where, and this is one thing that I highlighted when I watched that game, Reed Sheppard came off a DHO with Victor Wembanyama playing not a high drop, but kind of like a decently high drop to where he can contest the shot pretty easily, just given his wingspan. Reed Sheppard gets the ball and he pulls into the 3 immediately. This is something that Reed Sheppard struggled with in last season, just his aggressiveness and to shoot the ball. And I think this comes with a lot of younger players. Reed Sheppard is one of the best shooting prospects we've ever seen. When you get the ball, you shoot that motherfucker. Shoot the ball. Shoot the ball. That's why you're here. That's why you're on the floor. Shoot the basketball. And I think that's what he's been doing a lot more. And it sounds so simple. It sounds so simple. When you ask one of the best shooting prospects we've ever seen to shoot the ball, that should be something that's simple. But now he's opening up so much more for this offense, and I can't be more happy for him.